Welcome back to Nightmare Theatre. I really love this time of year. For me, Halloween is only a month away. It's basically been raining non-stop, creating a thick fog I can barely see through out my window. I'm sat here by a warm fire and ready to read you all a scary story. Please like and subscribe and share with your friends who may also like to hear some spooky tales. Let me know in the comments any story you'd like me to cover, real or imaginary. Anyways, for today's tale, we are talking about the disturbing origin story of SpongeBob SquarePants. Sit back, relax by the fire and sip on a nice warm drink. I bet you've heard of the TV show SpongeBob SquarePants. It's all about the adventures of a humanoid sponge named SpongeBob and his humanoid friends. What you may not know is the dark origins behind SpongeBob and the rest of the creatures in Bikini Bottom. Here is the true story of SpongeBob SquarePants. In the eerie depths of the Pacific, beneath the waves lay a place that was once vibrant and untouched, Bikini Atoll. This idyllic paradise, however, bore witness to humanity's darkest ambitions. In the late 1940s, the US government began a series of nuclear tests here, detonating 67 bombs over the years, leaving scars both above and below the water's surface. As the clouds of dust settled and the ocean roiled with radiation, an unnatural metamorphosis began to unfold. Marine life, once innocent and unspoiled, twisted and warped, reshaped by the unseen forces of destruction. Fish grew eyes where mouths should be, corals became grotesque caricatures of their former selves, and shadows of sentient beings emerged from the depths, creatures far removed from the simple joys of existence. Among these twisted forms was a peculiar sponge, a bright yellow anomaly among the detritus of mutated life. This sponge, later known as SpongeBob SquarePants, absorbed the radiated energy like a sponge, his very essence woven into the fabric of the radiation's aftermath. He sprouted limbs, his square shape reflecting the unnatural geometry of the debris around him. What had once been a harmless organism now danced with an energy both whimsical and unsettling. As SpongeBob roamed the ruins of Bikini Atoll, he encountered a cast of equally mutated characters. There was Patrick, a starfish with an otherworldly glow that flickered like a dying star, and Squidward, a cephalopod whose tentacles writhed with the remnants of radiation, imbuing him with a permanent sense of dread and despair. Together they forged a community known as Bikini Bottom, a realm of grotesque beauty born from horror. The townsfolk were unaware of their origins, blissfully ignorant of the catastrophe that had birthed them. They played games and held festivals in the glow of the bioluminescent algae that thrived on the radiated debris. But deep within the ocean, memories of the past lurked, a dark consciousness whispering through the currents. The echoes of Operation Crossroads were not forgotten. They became the foundation of Bikini Bottom's existence. As days turned to years, the playful antics of SpongeBob and his friends belied the sinister truth hidden beneath their cheerful veneer. They often found themselves drawn to the remnants of the nuclear tests, rusting ships and shattered islands that pulsed with a sickly energy. Curious and naive, they would explore the ruins, unknowingly awakening the ancient spirits of the ocean, creatures twisted by the radiation, guardians of the past who had been waiting for centuries to unleash their wrath. It was during one such exploration that SpongeBob stumbled upon a forgotten bunker, buried beneath layers of coral and sediment. Inside, he found a series of strange devices, the remnants of human technology and warfare, glowing with an eerie light. As he touched one of the buttons, a surge of energy coursed through him, awakening the dormant powers of the ocean's rage. In an instant, Bikini Bottom shifted. The colours grew darker, the laughter turned hollow, and the waters churned with a new, malevolent force. The townsfolk became aware of the shadows lurking in their periphery, whispers echoing in the depths of their minds. What was once a place of innocence transformed into a realm of madness, where nightmares began to seep into reality. Squidward, once a mere cynic, became a harbinger of the impending doom. His art morphed into grotesque interpretations of their world, capturing the horror that loomed over Bikini Bottom. The more he painted, the more the town descended into chaos, as shadows began to take form, drifting through the streets, feeding on the fears of the residents. As the darkness closed in, SpongeBob realized the truth. They were not merely products of nuclear folly, but the living embodiment of the horror that lay beneath the ocean. Desperation clawed at his heart, urging him to confront the source of their curse. In the depths of Bikini Bottom's heart, he sought out the abyss, the source of the ancient, radiated spirits. In that final confrontation, the ocean roared with rage. The spirits, grotesque and massive, emerged from the depths, their forms a nightmarish reflection of the past. Twisted fish and monstrous sea creatures, remnants of lives lost to the nuclear cataclysm. SpongeBob faced them, armed only with the memories of laughter and joy. And in that moment of truth, he understood that their existence was both a curse and a blessing. With a sacrifice born from love for his friends and the world they had built, SpongeBob unleashed a wave of pure, untainted energy, bridging the gap between the twisted remnants of their past and the possibility of a brighter future. The ocean trembled, and in that moment, Bikini Bottom was reborn, not as a place of horror, but as a testament to resilience, forever haunted by the whispers of its origins. Yet, deep in the shadows, the echoes of Operation Crossroads lingered, reminding the denizens of Bikini Bottom that beneath the laughter, the darkness always waits. Patiently, years passed in Bikini Bottom, and while the spectre of their origins faded from collective memory, the town pulsed with a lingering unease. Beneath the surface, shadows still whispered, and some began to suspect that the cheerful façade of their lives concealed a deeper, darker truth. In a dimly lit corner of the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob overheard a hushed conversation between Mr. Krabs and an old, weary sailor who had drifted into town. The sailor, his face lined with the weight of secrets, spoke in a low voice. "You don't know what you are, lad. You and your friends, you were never meant to be alive." SpongeBob's heart raced, the words echoing ominously in his mind. "What do you mean?" he stammered, unable to contain his curiosity. The sailor turned to him, eyes glinting with a mixture of pity and fear. "Years ago, before the bombs, the government conducted experiments on the island. They wanted to see how far they could push marine life, how they could manipulate and control it. You and your pals, you're all remnants of those who suffered." The sailor's words hung in the air, thick with dread. "You see, they took people, mariners and scientists, anyone they could find. Those who survived became distorted shells of their former selves, trapped in the ocean's embrace. You think this place is a paradise, but it's a graveyard for their souls." SpongeBob stumbled back, grappling with the revelation. Patrick, a starfish, once a carefree fisherman named Patrick O'Malley, had been a gentle giant, a man who loved the sea. Now he was a dim-witted creature, his mind dulled by the radiation. Squidward was once a gifted artist, Squidward Tentacles, whose dreams had been crushed under the weight of government greed, leaving him as a jaded, disillusioned cephalopod. As the sailor recounted the fates of his friends, SpongeBob's mind raced. Sandy Cheeks, the scientific genius from Texas, had been part of a military program to test the effects of radiation on marine biology. She had been transformed into a squirrel, trapped in a world that was never meant for her, her brilliance lost to the depths of the ocean. With each revelation, SpongeBob felt a deep sense of loss. They were not just friends, they were echoes of real lives lost in the shadows of military ambition. The sailor continued, his voice dropping to a whisper. "The show you're all part of, it's not just entertainment. The writers, they know what happened. They're weaving your story into something palatable, hiding the truth behind laughter and joy. They're manipulating the narrative, making sure the world forgets the horror." SpongeBob staggered away, his mind racing. The truth felt like a weight pressing down on his soul. He had to confront the writers, to understand why they'd chosen to mask their dark origins beneath layers of absurdity and humor. That night, he gathered his friends in the Goo Lagoon, the moonlight casting a silvery glow over their gathering. "Guys," he began, voice trembling, "I found out something terrible. We're not just who we think we are. We were all part of experiments. Real people who died because of what the government did, and the show, our lives, are being used to hide that truth. The group fell silent, disbelief etched on their faces. Patrick, usually carefree, stared blankly. Sandy clenched her fists, a flicker of anger in her eyes. Squidward, forever cynical, rolled his eyes but couldn't mask the fear lurking behind his sarcasm. "Are you telling me," Squidward scoffed, "that we're just puppets in a sick little game, that our lives are a punchline?" But even he knew deep down that something felt off. "Exactly," SpongeBob shouted, desperation spilling from his voice. "We need to confront this. We need to know who we really are." Together, they devised a plan to infiltrate the studio where their show was produced. Under the cover of night, they crept through the shadows of the production lot, their hearts pounding with both fear and determination. As they approached the main building, they overheard voices, creators discussing the next season's plot lines. Hidden behind a stack of old scripts, they listened in, heartbeats quickening as they pieced together the truth. "They need to keep the show light," one writer said, "to distract from the reality of their existence. No one can know what we did, what the government did. The experiment was a failure, but it's easier to sell the laughter than the horror." SpongeBob felt sick. They were living caricatures of trauma, designed to entertain while the ghosts of their past remained shackled in the dark. The writers were aware of the pain beneath the surface, yet they chose to mask it in bright colours and catchy tunes. When the meeting ended, SpongeBob and his friends slipped away, the weight of their findings heavy in the air. They were not just survivors of a twisted experiment, they were the living embodiment of humanity's hubris. Determined to reclaim their story, they vowed to uncover the truth about themselves, their origins, and the shadows that loomed over Bikini Bottom. It was time to confront the darkness that had shaped their lives, to drag the secrets of the past into the light, and to remind the world that even in the depths of laughter, the echoes of sorrow can never truly be silenced. The moon hung heavy in the sky as SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, and Squidward gathered once more on the shores of Goo Lagoon. The weight of their discoveries pressed down upon them, yet a flicker of determination burned in their hearts. They had uncovered the truth about their origins, and now it was time to confront the shadows that loomed over Bikini Bottom. Together, they crafted a plan. The next morning, they would gather the citizens of Bikini Bottom and reveal the hidden history that lay beneath their feet. They understood that this truth could shatter their idyllic existence, but they knew it was necessary, both for themselves and for the spirits of those lost to the nuclear horrors. As dawn broke, the town came alive, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. SpongeBob stood at the center of Jellyfish Field, surrounded by his friends, his heart racing. A crowd began to gather, drawn by the sense of urgency in the air. "Citizens of Bikini Bottom," he called out, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "We have something important to share, something you need to know about who we really are." Whispers rippled through the crowd. Squidward stepped forward, his cynicism replaced by a rare moment of clarity. "Listen up, we're not just cartoon characters, we're remnants of a tragic past," Sandy interjected, her voice fierce. "We were part of experiments, the result of horrors inflicted by those who thought they could control nature. We're not just a joke, we're survivors." A murmur of disbelief swept through the crowd, eyes wide with shock. SpongeBob took a deep breath, pushing past his fear. "We've lived in the shadow of this truth for too long. We owe it to the lost souls of Bikini Atoll to face the reality of our origins. We're here to reclaim our story." As they spoke, the ocean churned ominously, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface. The vibrant colors of Bikini Bottom seemed muted, as if the very essence of their existence was intertwined with the sorrow they were revealing. Suddenly the waters began to churn more violently, waves crashing against the shore as if responding to their words. From the depths, shadows emerged, twisted figures, the spirits of those who had suffered in silence, their forms reflecting the pain of the past. The citizens gasped in horror, recognizing the phantoms of the forgotten. The figures swirled around SpongeBob and his friends, their voices rising like a mournful chorus. "You are the echoes of our lives," one spirit whispered, a spectral fisherman. and you carry our burden. Remember us." With each passing moment, the spirits grew more restless, their anger rising with the tide. The realization of their origins resonated within SpongeBob and his friends, igniting a sense of responsibility to honor the lives that had been sacrificed. "We're sorry!" SpongeBob cried out, tears streaming down his cheeks. "We didn't know. But we promise to remember you, to share your story. We will not let your suffering be in vain." The spirits hesitated, their forms flickering with uncertainty. The townsfolk stood frozen, grappling with the reality of their existence, and then, in an act of collective unity, they stepped forward, joining hands, fish, crabs, and jellyfish alike. "We will remember!" Sandy shouted, her voice filled with conviction. "Together, we'll honor those who came before us." As the crowd chanted, the spirits began to calm, their anger dissipating like mist in the morning light. Slowly, they coalesced into a singular entity, shimmering with the memories of the past, pain, loss, and resilience. With a final haunting sigh, the spirit transformed into a radiant light, enveloping Bikini Bottom in a warm glow. The colors returned to their vibrant hues, and the laughter of the townsfolk rang out once more, now tinged with a deeper understanding of their place in the world. As the light faded, SpongeBob felt a profound change within him. They had faced the truth, and in doing so had liberated not only themselves but also the spirits that had long been trapped by the weight of their history. The town would never be the same, but it would thrive, built upon the foundation of both joy and sorrow. With renewed purpose, SpongeBob turned to his friends. "We may have started as experiments, but we're more than that. We're a community shaped by our past, but destined to create our own future." Together, they walked back to Bikini Bottom, ready to embrace the laughter, the love, and the legacy of those who came before. They would tell their stories, honor the lost, and ensure that the echoes of the past would guide their journey forward. And in that beautiful, haunting, underwater realm, Bikini Bottom flourished, a testament to resilience, forever intertwined with the shadows of its origins, but free to swim into the light. That's all for tonight. I really hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. I wanted to try something a bit different, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you prefer these longer single episodes or the shorter anthologies? Anyways, until next time, and make sure to check under your bed for monsters before drifting off to sleep.